What's going on, guys? I want to just do this quick video here because we were supposed to talk about it last night in the class, but ended up switching around. But here's the thing. These are duplexes that are on the same street that we did not build. So first of all, I want to just let you guys know that I don't know the numbers, okay? A lot of the stuff that I'm going to do here is going to be conjecture, which means I'm just going to make some assumptions on some of the stuff that they're doing. I'm going to call out some good things. I'm going to call out some not so good things. But again, I don't know what the cost of the lot was. I don't know what the cost of the construction is because these are not our builds. But based off of that information, we want to at least walk you through what it looks like and some of the things that I look at. So we had these properties on the market for sale for about $389. This is a duplex side by side, and I couldn't find them online for sale. And I ended up finding them here for rent. So here's a couple of things I'm going to point out to you that I think are important. The very first thing here, and I actually went out there and measured it. The city of Conroe is requiring an 18-foot driveway. These are going to be 20 foot. Okay. Now, I understand what that it would be a nice to have for a tenant. But again, if the minimum requirement is 18 foot, there's absolutely, in my opinion, no reason to go another 2 feet wide here on either side, right? Typically, we hug the line right here. We hug the line of the side of the property or the structure, and then we'll come in this way. So I think that that's a little bit of a wasted concrete, but I don't know. Maybe it was something that the city required them to have it to make it larger. I don't know 100%. So that's one thing I'll say. I like that they use siding all around. It makes it look great, and it's very, very easy to use. And then we have a lot of windows in the front here, man. So this is one of the other challenges that I tell you. Some of the design things that I come up with are trying to just minimize it, okay? Totally understand we have two front windows in the living room. I like how he separated them there a little bit because that does, minimize the cost, right? So there's a little separation. So you have two 3x5 windows in the front. Obviously, these are the ones that are going to be for the other unit, and then one at the entrance, which is totally fine. Let's see what else they do here. The front door is something very similar to what we do. Nothing to change there. We are also doing the 9-foot ceilings. I have a feeling that this might be 10, but I think it's 9. Let's just go with 9. I think it's 9. Here's one of the things I'll tell you right now that I don't do on my new construction duplexes because I think that the value that you receive on the back end versus what it costs you to do is just disproportionate. And so this guy here has put tile floor in the living room and stuff like that. It's a nice to have, really it is. I think it's great. It looks fantastic, but it's a very, very high costly, labor intensive, material intensive type of project. Okay. So whereas we're paying somewhere around $225 to $250 a square foot, and that is the entirety of it, material and labor. Let's do some quick math. The property that we're doing right now is going to be 2485 square feet. Let's say that we're paying $2.50 for the material and labor. Okay, it's ballpark like $6,000. The challenge here is that this material and I don't know, again, it's conjecture, right? If you paid $5 a square foot for material and labor, that's $12,000. That's double the price, right? Because we're doubling the price of the material and labor. But it isn't outside the scope of reason for someone to charge that much money to do this large of a tile job, which is one of the reasons why we stayed away from it, because it is very, very cost prohibitive. It looks great though, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's going to last a very, very long time. The stuff that we use is going to be luxury vinyl plank. It's going to be the thick rubber that is able to withstand, being drenched in water for an extended period of time. It won't ruin it, okay? It's just rubber. We're not talking about the entire big sheets of rubber. We're talking about individual planks. They don't snap in or anything like that. They're just, flush against each other, and it looks like wood. I think it's great. Let's see. I like the high ceilings. Here's another thing that I don't do because it's just an additional cost. Yes, above the microwave, we're required to have the vent, right? So you have the vent so that any kind of smells and stuff like that from the microwave can get sucked in and out of the house and stuff like that, which is totally cool. But we don't put a cabinet up there. This cabinet is going to be another, $200 or something like that. We just put a piece of wood up there with some sheetrock and stuff like that. And that's it. You're not going to be able to reach up there. It's not functional is what I'm saying. It looks fantastic. I don't do it because it's just an additional cost. Okay. And I do think for some crazy reason that this is going to be 10 feet because the distance here, or maybe these are 30-inch cabinets. I don't know. So anyway, that's one thing that I would definitely not do in some of the ones that we're doing. The backsplash in the kitchen is something else that we've eliminated, mostly because it really is redundant and we don't get a big, massive jump in appraisal values. The same duplex with just the 6-inch lip, right, that matches the countertop. We're talking about the same thing. We have a backsplash. It's a 6-inch backsplash, covers that up, no issues. The rest is going to be painted sheetrock. It has not changed the appraisal value for the stuff that we're doing. Okay. Another cabinet situation that we have going on here is the refrigerator. Above the refrigerator, we have more cabinets. I don't do that because, you know, it's not a big deal for a rental property. It really isn't. And then these side by side, there isn't a pantry in here, which I can understand. And I think that's a nice little addition there for the people who are going to be living there. So that's not that big of a deal, but I would try to probably stay away from that. See, there's no real pantry. And so they've kind of created one here by doing this tall cabinet, which is completely understandable. This faucet is a little bit on the higher end. We're not saying that we're not using anything like that. I don't know what they paid for it, but it looks nice. We're probably going to go with something a little bit more cost conscious. These fans, they look fantastic. We go with something that lasts just as long, that serves the same purpose and looks just as great, but in my opinion, this is going to be a little bit more. It looks like the propeller on a boat, and I'm sure they're super efficient and stuff like that. But in my opinion, that's going to be a little bit much. Everything else here looks good. Yeah, this looks like tile. It might be something different, but you know, it looks fantastic. What is this? It looks like it's a double. Oh, that's weird. I think the picture got taken while it was moving. Well, one of the things I'll tell you right up front here is that we don't go all the way to the very top like this. And we don't go all the way to the very top like that because it's just more material, more labor. And then we are getting inserts. So our tubs in combination and stuff like that, they come already pre-assembled. And so basically it's also made out of like hard rubber and stuff like that, but it's like, it's easier to clean in my opinion, and it doesn't have grout lines that need to be cleaned because it's all like plastic. Okay, these tub inserts, they look like this, exactly like this, but they're a different material. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you notice this here, this is one of the properties that we just recently did. And we have a shower pan in this one, but again, it looks great. There's nothing, it looks like tile. If you zoom in on this stuff, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Let me show you another picture here so you can see it up front, up close. These are panels, and you can see the kind of the thick line right there, right down the middle. And it looks like tile, so there's no actual grout. And so basically, we have these little tile looking things that go vertical, and it looks great. It didn't affect our appraisal value, not a single bit. I mean, but it's not actual tile, and it's way faster to install it than having to do tile, because you have to like let the tile sit, and then you have to do the grout another day, and then you have to do cleanup and stuff like that. This can be put up in one day very, very easily without a whole bunch of problems. This is the type of floor that we use. It's a luxury vinyl plank stuff that is just, you know, it looks like wood, but, you know, it's waterproof. That's what I really like about it. Just like tile, it's waterproof. And unlike tile, where the grout lines over time, they get really, really dirty and they look just disgusting. They get really just dirty because they're obviously on the floor. You know, we don't really have that issue here, but it doesn't become like worse over time. If there's ever any issue, these individual planks can be removed individually and replaced individually without affecting the rest of the floor around it. You can the same thing with tile, right? But you know, you do get the discoloration of the grout over time. So let me get back over here where we're at. Again, no issues with it. It looks fantastic, but you probably paid a little bit more for that stuff than we really wanted to. So that's just a quick rundown. Let me do the back the outside real quick. So if you can see here, they do have a nice quality roof, which I think is great. That's the same thing that we use in ours. We do that because, you know, we want to keep some of these as rentals, or, you know, we want to have a good quality product. We lower maintenance over time. We do not do fans in the living room. Typically we do fans in the master bedroom. That's normally one of the places that's always needed or requested. But aside from that, everything else here looks pretty solid. One of the other things that I would actually critique here is going to be the sink as well. It's a very nice quality sink, but again, it's one of those things that we don't necessarily have to have for a rental property. It looks like they went three-tone paint on the interior, which is totally cool. And all that means is that, you know, the walls are going to be a gray color, the trim and the doors and the cabinet's going to be a different color, along with the window sills, and then the ceiling is typically a flat white. And it looks like they put a security system inside the property, but that's totally okay because, you know, sometimes you need to have that type of stuff. But anyways, that's really it, guys. I don't really have a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm telling you that, like, if you're not careful whenever you start doing your builds, you unfortunately push the budget way further than you really want to, and then you end up with a product that you cannot sell because it's just way overdone for the market or for the area. Again, I don't know this guy, and if he's watching, man, bro, this is not a critique. I think you did a fantastic job, but we are always constantly looking for ways to make our projects more efficient, so that we don't like get stuck with a property that we don't want as a rental or something like that, and we can just get rid of it and sell it on the market. The market is a little bit slow right now, and people do have to be flexible. And what I do like about this model, he has this rented or lease, I'm sorry, available for rent right now. It's $1,650 a month, right? That's $3,300 a month. That is going to increase, like if he's all in for about $300,000, he should be able to easily cover the mortgage. So at a maximum, you know, 70% loan to value, even 75% loan to value. Some lenders will allow you to go up to 80% loan to value as long as the two rents cover. And because he did it inside the city limits, that's fantastic. He has permits for side A and side B, and therefore, you know, it just automatically will make it. It's an easier refinance process when you've pulled permits for each one individually and you have them everything separated. You got a firewall and all the other stuff. So anyways, I just want to go through that stuff. We had more pictures in the other one, but you really can't see them. There was a little bit of a critique about the back door as well, because it was a little bit, in my opinion, too high end for what we're trying to accomplish here. But again, to each his own. We're all trying to be business owners here and, you know, be efficient about what we're doing. I wanted to make this recording for you guys so you get my perspective on what this guy has on these, you know, essentially the exact same thing that we have. Ours is going to be 1234 square feet. It's only going to be 20 feet bigger. Not a real big impact, but anyway, that's all I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you learned something from it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.